Welcome to my mommy's podcast.
This podcast is brought to you by Genexa, a company creating a new generation of over-the-counter medication that is cleaner, safer, and healthier. And here is what I mean. They have a line of over-the-counter medicines and homeopathics that are all organic and non-GMO verified, extensively tested, and free of allergens, dyes, and harmful additives. The company was created by two dads with a mission to find healthier products for their families. Genexa has natural sleep aids, pain relief topical gel, saline drops, heartburn remedies, and so much more. You can check out their whole line at genexa.com/wellnessmama. That's GENEXA.com/wellnessmama and use the code WELLNESS, all capital, for 20% off of your order. This episode is brought to you by Mother Dirt. Are you too clean? Modern hygiene has led us to believe that all bacteria is bad, but bacteria are natural and ecosystems would crumble without bacteria. Just like our gut needs good bacteria, the same goes for our skin. We used to all get enough good bacteria through contact with dirt and nature, but many of us miss out on this in the modern world. Mother Dirt's AO Plus Mist restores the good bacteria on the skin that has been washed away by modern products. It contains a patented ammonia oxidizing bacteria, or AOB, that works by consuming the ammonia in your sweat and producing beneficial byproducts for your skin, which brings balance to the skin biome. Plus, since ammonia is the stinky part of your sweat, the AOB in the AO Plus Mist eats this up, and 60% of Mother Dirt users are able to stop using deodorant completely. Mother Dirt products are plant-based with minimal ingredients, they're gentle, effective, and they're a healthy choice for the whole family. New customers can save 20% on their first purchase by going to motherdirt.com/wellnessmama and using the code FREESHIP20. Again, motherdirt.com/wellnessmama and the code FREESHIP20. Hello and welcome to the Wellness Mama podcast. I'm Katie from wellnessmama.com, and this episode is going to be super important, especially if you have any type of autoimmune disease, because I'm here with Andrea Wool, who is a personal trainer, a nutritional therapy practitioner, and the founder and CEO of Autoimmune Strong, which is an online fitness program designed specifically for those of us living with autoimmune disease, fibromyalgia, or chronic pain. She is a mom of two boys who struggled with her own health for years, and she knew she had to make some changes herself to overcome her multiple autoimmune disorders, and she used fitness as part of this process for her, and it worked so well that she felt compelled to share it with all of the rest of us. So through Autoimmune Strong, her program, she's been helping women all over the globe learn how to exercise properly while living with an autoimmune disorder, which is a topic that's not often covered, and I can't wait to dive in. So welcome and thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me, Katie. I'm so happy to be talking to you today.
Oh my gosh, likewise. I think that our time is going to fly by because you're so easy to talk to. And I feel like there's so much resonance in our stories, but I'd love to hear a little bit more about yours first. Also, having been through the autoimmune side myself, I'd love to hear your journey and how you ended up where you are.
Well, what I think is really interesting is that when I tell my story, usually like 10 women are like, oh my God, I have the same story. There's so many similarities in what we all go through. And so, my story is not unique, which means that since I was able to get better, that other people can too, which is, I think, very hopeful. So I've always had health issues as I was growing up, but nothing, really that different or spectacular. And after the birth of my second son, I was gaining weight rather than losing it as I was nursing, and my hair was falling out like all over the place, like more than is usual after you give birth, and I was so lethargic, like everything hurt. I was on fire all over my body, and just walking up and down the stairs, carrying the baby, playing with my 3-year-old, all of that was like overwhelming, too much. My body just couldn't handle it. And there would be times, I was lucky at that time to be living right down the street from my mom. So I would literally have to call her and be like, I need you to come over right now because I literally need to go take a nap at this moment. Like I cannot take care of my children. And it was a really desperate place to be. Because what I was dealing with, what I know now is that I was dealing with invisible illness, and everybody around me was kind of like, oh my God, she just can't take care of her kids. Like, what's wrong with her? And I knew that this wasn't just postpartum. It wasn't just I have a new baby. It was something really different. And I went to a bunch of doctors who all basically were like, well, you just had a baby. Of course, like you don't feel good. You're tired. You're stressed and all of that. And I just knew in my heart of hearts that there was something really wrong. And after, I think I went to like 8 different doctors, and one of them had suggested, maybe you could look at going gluten-free. I don't know. I don't know if that'll help you or not, but it sort of helped other people. And so I was like, well, that's the only tangible information I've been able to get out of these 8 doctors. So yeah, I'll try it. I'll try anything. So I started Googling. I was like, I don't even know how to go gluten-free. What does that even mean? So I started Googling food, and I started playing with my diet. I started learning about elimination diets. I started learning about organic food, and I started, learning about how I was the person who was like spraying, I can't believe it's not butter on my whole wheat toast, for breakfast, and eating jelly beans for lunch. Like, I'm not going to pretend I was at all healthy, prior to this. And so I started learning like, okay, this is really bad. I need to make some changes. So I started making some changes in my diet. And I started to feel really different. And I've been an athlete my whole life. And during that time, I was completely unable. As I said, I couldn't even climb the stairs, never mind go for a run. I mean, that was just unheard of. And I have been a runner since I was 13. So as I started feeling better with food, I started realizing there needs to be a fitness component to this healing process for myself. And so I wasn't working at the time. I was actually too sick to go back to my corporate job. So I had quit my corporate job at this moment. And so we didn't have a lot of money, but I convinced my husband that whatever we had needed to be spent on a personal trainer, because I knew that fitness was going to be a major thing for me to get better. And this personal trainer, she was lovely and she was wonderful, but she wanted to make every hour that we were together really, in her mind, worthwhile. And so she was having me do all this crazy stuff, and it was making it worse rather than better. And when I say crazy stuff, I don't mean she was actually making me do crazy stuff. It's just that I was, she was like, you can do burpees. Let's go. And I was like, I can't even walk upstairs. How am I supposed to do a burpee? Never mind like 50. So I quickly realized that fitness was what I needed to do, but that going sort of the traditional fitness route was harming me rather than helping me. And so I realized that I couldn't find anybody who understood what I was dealing with. So I decided to go back to school and become a personal trainer myself, so that I could actually develop a program that would help me get stronger and get healthier. At this time, I really had no intentions of helping anybody else. But once I developed this program and it was working for me, people around town, I was living in Providence, Rhode Island, which is a small city, especially when I grew up there. So, when you walk around town, you go to the supermarket and people you knew from 5 years ago would bump into me and they'd say like, wow, you look amazing, which was code for like, oh my God, you actually look like you're not dying. And then they'd whisper to me like, well, how can I figure out what you're doing? Because I'm not feeling good either. And so I started spreading this message about fitness in a much scaled back kind of way. And I realized that this was a message that nobody was talking about, and that I had something here. So that's how Autoimmune Strong was born. And now I'm 6 years into that healing process. I feel amazing, and I'm stronger than I was ever, even before I got sick. And this journey actually led me to the diagnoses of finally it took years for them to figure out what was wrong with me. But I now have been diagnosed with Hashimoto's and celiac and fibromyalgia. So that's where we are today.
Wow, I can relate to so much of that, especially that struggle of trying to figure out what's wrong with you and that debilitating fatigue where you're just like, I cannot even move. Like, I remember when I first was going through the initial stages of Hashimoto's, I would just put my little kids, at the time I had 2 toddlers, in their room, and I knew there was nothing that wasn't child safe in there, and I would lay in front of the door and just sleep because I knew they couldn't get out.
Yeah, I've done things like that too. Oh my gosh, I've totally, yeah. In TV, I mean, there were no screen time rules at that point. I was like, you can watch TV whenever you want because I need to go rest.
Yeah, it's truly, it's a struggle. And I think to anyone listening who's there and hasn't been able to find answers, I just want to say, like, I understand and we see you. We totally understand your struggle. It is real. Don't let people tell you that nothing's wrong, because it is, and you just have to find those answers. But I feel like you touched on so many important things, and I want to go deeper on why do those of us with autoimmune disease or fibromyalgia or chronic pain need to exercise differently? Kind of explain what's going on with the body.
Yeah. So, well, the first thing that's really important to understand is that my hunch back then was that like I need to move in order to feel better. And there's actually science behind that, that I know now. And exercise has been proven to actually improve or I guess not improve, but slow down the progression of disease. So exercise is actually for people with autoimmune disease beneficial from a healing perspective. So as we talk about exercise, like that's really important to know is that we can't just stay still. We have to move our bodies in order to be healthy. That said, the traditional fitness model is very much a no pain, no gain kind of fitness model, right? And I get it. Like, they're trying to get people off the couch and moving their bodies. And the best way to get fast results is to push your body really hard. But I'm not about fast results. I'm about long-term health. That's different. So, a lot of what you see out there is, want six-pack abs in 6 weeks. This is what you've got to do. I don't actually care about six-pack abs. I just want to be able to not be lying on the ground when my kids need something. So it first starts with having the right goal in mind of what do you want? And if what you want is long-term health and to feel good in your body every day, crushing yourself at the gym is not going to help. And the reason it doesn't help is because autoimmune disorders are inflammatory diseases. Our immune systems are fighting. They're fighting within ourselves all day long. So as our bodies are working twice as hard as other people's bodies, even when we're sleeping, because this immune attack is happening at all times. So we're constantly on the high levels of being really inflamed. That inflammation is linked to cortisol, and our bodies are stressed out because we're under attack, right? So all of this is happening without us even really knowing about it. Exercise also increases cortisol and inflammation. That's actually the point of exercise is to break down and tear your muscles in order for them to build back up and be stronger and more cohesive. So those two don't seem to mix, because if you're going to exercise and increase your cortisol, but you already have really high levels of inflammation, it's going to send that additional exercise cortisol loop is going to send your body like over the top. And your body's way of handling when your inflammation gets too high is to shut down and say, I'm exhausted. I can't do anything. I can't move. So if you exercise too hard, you're going to put yourself into a place where you have an exercise induced symptom flare up, which means that's when your body, some people get fevers. Some people get that incredible exhaustion that you and I were talking about. Some people get incredible muscle aches, like more than just your regular after I just worked out hard work muscle aches, but like muscle aches that kind of go to your bone and like stay with you forever. For me, I would find that after one workout with that personal trainer, I'd be on the couch for 2 weeks and couldn't even think about moving my body, never mind going back. So this is why we have to worry about how we exercise. We need to make sure that we exercise in a way that increases our body's health without sending you overboard into that place of, exercise-induced symptom flare-up. So there has to be that really happy medium. And that's what I have sort of found is that really great space of you can do really short, quick exercises that you build up strength that are really targeted. They're just not going to get you that, six-pack ab in 6 weeks. But I'm okay with that.
Yeah, absolutely.